Hey everybody, I'm back. Here to talk about inexpensive albums that are good. I mean, if you're sick of paying $30 for every Blue Note reissue that hits on record store day or whatever, or if you just like obscure, off the wall, and less expensive used records, maybe I've got something for you here. Anyway, let's get into it. What are we listening to now? Okay, so this video is going to be all about, I would say, obscure, forgotten, and unknown fusion albums, mostly from the 70s, some from the 80s, all worthy of your attention and possibly your hard-earned cash. What are we listening to now? This is almost guaranteed to turn up, especially if you're on the West Coast somewhere. This is almost guaranteed to turn up in one of the used bins at your local record store. This is what we're listening to now, Susan Muscarella, and it's called Rainflowers. And I saw this around a lot back in the day, back in the 70s. This is from, I think, the late 70s, although it has a barcode on it, so it might be from the early 80s. Anyway, I just thought it was a new age record. I never even bothered to look at the back. Well, there's a full band on every track except one is a solo piano. It's produced by Mel Martin, who was a fairly well-known Bay Area reed player. Did a lot of really interesting music. A couple of his records came out on Inner City. He was a really interesting guy. Did a lot of cool music. Muscarella is a keyboardist and composer, and this is a really great record. You're going to hear it the whole time I'm blathering. To me, it's kind of got a late period sort of return to forever thing going on. I don't know, it just sounds that way to me. Anyway, Rainflowers by Susan Muscarella on the Pacific Arts label. Actually a really interesting and excellent record label, small independent record label on the West Coast that also did, I think that they're also responsible for one of my favorite all-time cheap heaters, New Moon and Zitron, Zytron. If you haven't gotten that, you need to run out and get that one. Anyway, continuing on, here's another album completely unknown to me. I don't know about you, but late at night when everyone's in bed, I stay up late and sort of peruse Discogs and eBay for interesting and cheap records. And, who can blame me? Anyway, I came across this, and this piqued my interest because it has got one of the world's greatest musicians of all time on it, Kenwood Denard, and he's playing drums on this. And of course, if you don't know Kenwood Denard, he was on Joyous Lake, the fantastic singular record by Pat Martino. He was in Brand X. He played with Jocko along with Hiram Bullock. He teaches at Berkeley. I get anything that he does. I play the drums as well, and it's of great interest to me what he's able to do. Anyway, this record by Tom Pierson, completely unfamiliar to me. Tom Pierson, this is his solo debut, and it's just called Tom Pierson. It's on the Applause label. I think that's out of Ohio, like Cincinnati. I could be mistaken. Oh, it says Beverly Drive, California. Anyway, Applause Records also did the Phase record, which is something you need to look at too if you like complex fusion. Anyway, the other people on this record are also great. Kenwood Denard, of course, on drums. Tom Barney on bass, who was in Miles Davis's band. Lou Marini, session musician par excellence. Pierson plays Fender Rhodes and synthesizers. No DX7. And there's a percussionist on this as well, Eric Cohen. Anyway, this album blew me away, Tom Pierson. Fabulous record, very exploratory, very almost out, but not quite. There's no guitar on it. But if you're really deeply into fusion keyboards and great drumming and great bass playing and cool alto sax solos, this album is dope, as the kids say. It's a really great record. All original compositions, no cheese at all. This is a must-have. Tom Pierson. He subsequently went on to do a lot of orchestral work, a lot of soundtrack work, and also he had a active side gig as a jazz musician, doing piano trio, and a lot of those records have the great drummer Ferran Aklaf on them. So I haven't heard those yet, but I think a lot of this material, if you go to Tom Pierson on Bandcamp, free downloads. I need to do this. Anyway, really interesting character, and it's just a great record. Continuing. I talked about these guys in my last video. If you haven't seen it, you should go back and check it out. A little bit more straight up jazz oriented. These guys did an album. They're called the Midtown Jazzmobile, and they are based in Memphis, Tennessee. And their first album was an all acoustic affair, all original tunes though, really great personnel. A lot of these guys, you might not recognize their names, but they do pop up on a lot of really interesting records. Anyway, they recorded a follow-up to their debut, which is titled Fugitive, released on a very small label. I think this is on the same one, same label. Lomo Records, maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, independent, almost. I don't think it's a private release, but it's almost private. But this is cheap. It's not necessarily plentiful, but you can find this. Anyway, Midtown Jazzmobile. Title of the album is Back Attack. It's from '84, but there's no DX7 on it. It's all really great analog keyboard sounds. And he plays, the keyboardist, George Caldwell, plays a lot of acoustic piano and a lot of Rhodes on this. And this is a little bit more plugged in than their debut. He plays, like I said, a lot of Rhodes. And Gerard Harris, the guitarist, who also plays keyboards on this, he later joined Kool and the Gang. Anyway, he plays some absolutely smoking guitar on this. This is a really great record. It's got a much more electric sound than the debut. If you are familiar with the debut, you're really going to enjoy this. It's definitely heavier than Fugitive, their first record. This is called Back Attack, and it's a little harder to dig up than Fugitive, but it's not expensive, strangely. And these guys have great pedigrees. Saxophonist Jim Spake later was associated with the group Curlew, if you're familiar with Rock and Opposition and all the freaky jazz rock that they did. He was in that group, or at least present as a guest on one of their records. George Caldwell played with Basin Davis and did a lot of sessions. Gerard Harris did solo albums on his own, a lot of sessions, also Kool and the Gang. The drummer was in the Iguanas, kind of a swamp rock band. So they're diverse. It's a really good record. Another guy that nobody seems to talk about all that much, I kind of grew up in his presence. I never met him. I had a friend that actually played some gigs with him on drums. But this guy, I'm from Philly, but I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And this guy was the guy in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in the late 70s and early 80s, Randy Bernsen, and he still is, probably. I know he's still active and he's still releasing music. This is his debut as a solo artist, and it's called Music for Planets, People, and Washing Machines. And this version of it came out on a small label based in Florida called Abra Music. It was later reissued on the Zebra label and distributed by MCA with a different cover, but you should get it. It's a little commercial sounding. Imagine sort of the sound of, I would say, Mr. Gone era Weather Report, sort of merged with the Headhunters and then amped up considerably with every synthesizer known to mankind, and you'd be kind of close. Actually, the most appealing tracks on this are the sparsest. He was able to get, through his association with Jaco Pastorius, he did play with Jaco, and he was also, Randy Bernsen was also briefly in Blood, Sweat, and Tears. He was able to get an all-star cast to play on this record. So on different tracks, there are people like Peter Erskine, Jaco Pastorius, Robert Thomas Jr., all these guys are in Weather Report. Herbie Hancock, Ursula Dudziak, Michael Urbaniak, God, who else? Bob James is on a track. It just goes on and on and on and on. And basically all the top musicians in South Florida. So guys like Rich Franks, who I got to meet and sort of hang out with back in the day before I even started playing the drums. Rich is an amazing drummer. Alex Darkey, who's a piano player that appeared on Jaco's first record. He's all over this. Dan Gottlieb's on a track. Anyway, a lot of these all-star things don't really deliver. This is pretty cool. This album has more than a few moments. It's been in my collection for a long time, and there's a reason why. It's really good. He recorded a follow-up that's really sort of big, just big. Like imagine it's got kind of a Pat Metheny group element to it. This does not. This is a little more funky fusion oriented. Anyway, his subsequent albums are pretty good. If you don't mind a lot of DX7 and synthesizers and guest starring shots from the Brecker brothers and people like that. Anyway, Randy Bernsen, Music for Planets, People, and Washing Machines. And I think that's might be from the early 80s. 84. He was the dude in South Florida. Another guy that people don't seem to ever talk about anymore is trombonist Raul de Souza. Fantastic instrumentalist from Brazil, associated with Airto and Flora, was on a bunch of their records. He recorded this record with Jack DeJohnette, Richard Davis, and keyboardist Ted Lowe back in 1975. And this is an unbelievably killing fusion record, and this is quite a bit more sophisticated than you might expect. It's got all kinds of really cool compositions on it. De Souza wasn't a big composer, although there are a couple originals on here. They do a Barry Finnerty track called Chance to Burn. I always like that. The big one, though, is Crystal Silence, an 11-minute version, and DeJohnette just goes unhinged on it. They do a Jack DeJohnette tune that he did on the Compost record called Festival. You'll recognize it if you're familiar with that group. Dr. Honorius Causa by Joe Zawinul. Water Buffalo, that's one of his originals. Canto de Osana, which is like a traditional Brazilian thing that you need to know. And Nana, which is another Brazilian tune. Anyway, this was produced by Cannonball Adderley. He's on a couple of tracks. There's a horn section on a couple of tracks. Anyway, this is not sellout funk. This is a heavy piece of fusion that you need to have in your collection. The subsequent album, this is on Milestone, the subsequent album on Capitol is kind of a sellout affair. Very sort of commercial sounding. I didn't go for it. Another group that nobody talks about, seems to have forgotten about. These guys were from the Eastman School, Eastman College of Music. They're called AURACLE. They had a couple of albums out before this that are very sought after, very rare, released on a, I think, private label. And one was under the name Inner Visions. And then they changed their name to AURACLE. Anyway, this is a great, complicated fusion record. If you like, it's kind of Zappa thing going on. You could tell these guys are highly educated musicians and writing really sophisticated charts. This was on Chrysalis Records, not a label known for jazz. And it came out in 1978, the year after I graduated from high school. And it was huge. And a lot of these guys went on to become big-time studio musicians. Steve Kujala, the Reeds player on this, joined Chick Corea's band at one point. Rick Braun, the trumpet player, is the smooth jazz guy, but of course his music has more content than just smooth jazz, but it's kind of marketed that way. Really interesting player. John Serry Jr., the keyboardist. We're going to talk a little bit more about him in a second. Amazing player. The drummer and bassist Ron Wagner and Bill Stabell also became big studio guys, and they had a mallet player which kind of gave the music sort of a Zappa flavor. Lots of vibes in marimba and glockenspiel and whatnot in this, Stephen Rabine. Anyway, great record. If you like complex fusion that's not sold out in any way, shape, or form, that's sophisticated and listenable and changes a lot, AURACLE, get it. And if you can, get those first two records. They're killing. John Serry, the keyboard player from AURACLE, went on to do 2 more records for Chrysalis, a label known for progressive rock, not for jazz. This is the second of the 2, called Jazz Is, and yes, they named the magazine after this record. And this is a stunner. This is much more sort of jazz fusion oriented than his solo debut, which I'm going to talk about next. And this has got a great bunch of people on it. Mike Sembello out of Stevie Wonder's band on guitar, Bob Shepard on reeds, both Flim Johnson and Gordy Johnson, they're brothers playing bass on different tracks. I asked, Gordy lives in Albuquerque now and plays a lot of gigs. I asked him about these records, and he just lit up. And he just said that was some of the best music, I ever made. And this is a guy who toured and recorded with Chuck Mangione for, I think, over a decade. So some serious stuff going on here. My favorite track is Don Quixote's Hustle, a disco nightmare. And Peter Erskine plays drums on this. And he literally does impossible drumming on that track. This is just a killer record. Very much like AURACLE, maybe a little less nervous energy, no mallets. Carlos Vega's the other drummer on it from Caldera, a great drummer. This is the first record he did for Chrysalis, called Exhibition. More or less the same personnel. I don't think Erskine's on it. And Barry Finnerty's on guitar. And Gordon Gottlieb plays vibes. This has almost a prog rock, instrumental prog rock feel to it. Very similar to, in some ways, Music Magic era Return to Forever. Really complicated, a little florid. I really like this though, it holds up. I had it, sold it, recopped it. It holds up. So John Serry, Exhibition, great record. Another guy named John, several Johns here. I'm going to run out of time too. John Tropea, nobody talks about this guy. He was everywhere in the 70s. This is his first solo record from 1975. It came out on the Marlin label. You'd think it was a CTI record from the cover art. It's like a great aquarium disaster of 1975. But no, this has all the CTI guys on it. Rick Barada, Steve Gadd, Will Lee, John Grolnick, Rubens Bassini, just the whole bunch is present on this. And at the time when it came out, I kind of wrote it off as a disco record. It's actually really, really good. If you like CTI stuff, you need to have this record in your life. It's a really excellent record, and Tropea went on to record with everybody. He was actually discovered by Eumir Deodato, who did some arranging on this. Of course, he's well known for playing on those Deodato records on CTI, but he played with Van Morrison and Liza Minnelli and Billy Cobham. He's on Cobham's Spectrum. He's the other guitarist who's not Tommy Bolin. But check out John Tropea. Nobody talks about him anymore, but he's very much in the vein of Cornell Dupree, Larry Carlton, just really, really sweet, tasty, chopsy, soulful guitar. And I really enjoy that album. I got it at the Goodwill for 99 cents. Somebody had previously tried to sell it for $3. Another guy named John, and another guy who played with Van Morrison, is John Payne. And he did 2 records. He did a record on his own label, I think Bainbridge, which is a little pricey, but it's good. It's called the John Payne album, I think. Anyway, he recorded some records for Arista Freedom, which had sort of a fusion division, I guess, back then. This was produced by the great Michael Kuskuna. And so you know it's good. So, in the pantheon of jazz rock, funk, it's kind of is on a straight line between Weather Report and Headhunters, with a little bit of Return to Forever, Circa Light as a Feather thrown in. And the band's basically reeds, keys, electric bass, drums, and percussion. Anyway, really great stuff. This is a very fine record, completely ignored and lost over the years. He did a follow-up. This is called Bedtime Stories. He did a follow-up called The Razor's Edge. Bedtime Stories is from 75. This is from 76. And this is excellent also. Really good compositions, no sellout, no overproduction, no sweetener. It's really good. They did a 3rd record for Mercury, and this time it was under the moniker John Payne Lewis Levin Band. And this has vocalists on a couple tracks, but of the 3, this is the strongest, oddly enough. It's really excellent. New bassist, Paul Sokolow, new drummer, Paul Van Wangeningen, who's shortened his name to Paul VW. He plays a lot in the Bay Area. He's kind of a legendary force in the music scene of the Bay Area now. Anyway, this is excellent jazz funk. And the 2 vocal tracks, Lee Genesis is on one. He was on Stanton Davis's great record, Brighter Days. And the other vocalist is Clarice Taylor. She's wonderful. She was on that James Mason record. So don't be scared off by the vocals. This is a really excellent record. I've thrifted this. You can also get it on Discogs for $5 or less. Last thing I'm going to talk about, another Arista Freedom record, New York Mary. If you're into the Brecker Brothers, these guys were kind of like the Brecker Brothers' little punk brother. They're very similar in terms of sound and approach. All these guys in this band, Bruce Johnstone, Joe Corsello, Rick Patrone, they're the 3 main guys in the band. They're all from the big bands, Maynard Ferguson, Woody Herman. They are aided and abetted by a keyboardist who will be familiar to you, Alan Zavad, who later on joined John Lupani and Frank Zappa's bands. And then Donald Hahn on trumpet, another big band guy, and a guitar player named Tim Breen, who's more of a rock guy. He went to Japan and recorded some rock records. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I think that I've fulfilled my goal. Obscure, forgotten, and unknown jazz rock or jazz funk fusion. Go out, find these things, and enjoy the music. That's what it's all about. And until next time, I'll see ya.